Hey guys, welcome back. A little bit late to the party, but early last month, the Nintendo Switch celebrated its first year anniversary out in the market. So I decided to do I guess a 1 year celebration for the Nintendo Switch, showing my collection here. And without further ado, let's just get started. This is my launch unit that I got, during March of 2017. I may go over the different games that I have here, a lot of digital games in here, but let's just focus on the physical games. So for now, I'm gonna turn this off. Maybe at the end of the video, I'll show my my digital collection. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with the Nintendo Switch. It surprised me in a positive way. If you guys remember, I have some criticisms before the system got released, and in fact I have a video. So I'm eating crow a little bit. I think it was a fantastic first year with a lot of great games, and let's get started here with one of the pleasant surprises, which is ARMS, one of the new intellectual properties from Nintendo. A game with not very much content, but a lot of replay value in the sense that you can play with each different fighter has their own style, and the different arms that you can equip have different effects. So this game, despite not having a lot of content, has a lot of replay value, which is a little bit of a contradiction there. But I was pleasantly surprised with ARMS, and glad I was able to get this game on day one. Let's continue with Azure Gunvolt Strike Pack. This is a collection of the first two games that were originally released on Nintendo 3DS. And this particular one has like improved graphics and I guess the frame rate. I have not played this. This is one of my latest purchases for the Nintendo Switch and for the system. So looking forward to this, since I actually never played these games on the Nintendo 3DS. So very excited to have this, and this is one of those games that I think it's a budget title. Like you can get both games for a reduced price, so a pretty good deal in my opinion. Next up, another indie like cold classic, Cave Story Plus, a game that I have an impressions video here on my channel. I really enjoyed this game. This is one of those perennial indie games that got popular throughout the years, and for me it was a first time experience, even though this game has been out for a lot of systems and for many years already. I played this for the first time here on the Nintendo Switch, and I was pleasantly surprised at how fun and well put together this game is. This is a Nicalis release, and they've been doing a great job of packing the things with a lot of art and extra goodies. This one has like the soundtrack in a small CD and an art book, a mini art book here. So props to Nicalis for adding that detail, and I think a bunch of their releases have extra goodies within the package. So props to them, and yeah, Cave Story, a fantastic Metroidvania type of game that I really enjoyed. Next up is a game that I got on launch day along with my Nintendo Switch, and that game is Super Bomberman R. Again, a launch game that it disappointed me a little bit in the sense that the game is very short, and the single player content is just not very good. The online had some issues when it first released. It was a little bit sloppy as far as the netcode, but I believe patches have fixed that issue. And not my favorite game here, but it's a good throwback to the Bomberman games of old. And one curiosity here is that this game has a different spine. This is the only Switch game in my collection that has a very different spine with a custom font, if you will. Like so far, the games that I've shown you guys and the rest of my games in the collection have the same format with the white fonts and whatnot. And Bomberman, as this game in particular, has its own font. So I thought that was a funny difference here. But continuing and moving on, I have a game that I really enjoyed, and that game is Fire Emblem Warriors. Fantastic single player content. It's a Musa game, so it deviates from the typical Fire Emblem formula, but nevertheless, this game has a lot of interesting strategy elements. A lot of the strategy elements that are present in the typical SRPG Fire Emblem games are available in this, and they're very well put together in a hack and slash or Muso package, if you will. And this particular one is my, I was able to get the limited edition for a reduced price, so I was very happy to have it because the contents are actually pretty cool. As you can see here, it has a bunch of cards and CD soundtracks and whatnot. So yeah, Fire Emblem Warriors, a fantastic game, and I need to go back to this. I beat the game very quickly, but there's a lot of replay value with the different game modes and whatnot. So definitely looking forward into going back to Fire Emblem Warriors. Next up, we have a bunch of Mario games. Super Mario Odyssey, I already sang the praises for this game in many different ways and flavors. Simply put, this is a masterpiece, and in my opinion, one of the best Nintendo releases in a long time. Definitely one of the best games of 2017. It was my number 2 game, as you guys can see if you follow my channel. But simply put, this is one of the best 3D platformers ever made, and the amount of polish that Nintendo put in this game is just out of this world. And with a good reason, this game got selected by a bunch of publications as the best game of 2017. Very high quality game, and a very good way to celebrate the first year of the Nintendo Switch by releasing a high quality Mario game. Continuing with the Mario games, here we have another classic, Mario Kart Deluxe 8. Originally a Nintendo Wii U game. I absolutely loved this game, and I was glad that they decided to re-release this on the Nintendo Switch with all the DLC included. A fantastic game that also includes the battle mode, and not a whole lot else to say other than Mario Kart 8 is my favorite Mario Kart game of all time, and I'm a huge fan of the series, so that says a lot about the quality of this particular release. So continuing with the Mario trend here, we have Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I have not played this game yet, so I don't have any say in this, but I've heard a lot of good things about this game, and I'm a pretty big fan of the XCOM games, and I've heard this game has like similar elements, strategy and turn-based elements that make this game pretty interesting. So pretty much looking forward to trying this game out pretty soon. Next up, a quote-unquote, I guess, rare release. A lot of people were paying high prices to get this game. This is Poi Explorer Edition. What drew me to get this game is the fact that it's a 3D platformer, which, you guys, I love the 3D platforming games. But it's a throwback to like Mario 64, and from the very little time I put in the game, I can attest that a lot of the levels are very similar to Super Mario 64. They have, as you can see here, the same kind of like even appearance and art direction that Mario 64 had. So from what I played so far, I'm pleasantly surprised. This is a very kind of like low budget indie game that made a physical release. So very happy to have this, and I'm definitely gonna go back and put more time into the game because I was having a lot of fun playing this. Next up is another classic for puzzle lovers here. We have Puyo Puyo and Tetris. This is a fantastic release. Sometimes the Tetris games they get like kind of awkward in terms of license and stuff, so it's important to have, in my opinion, a physical release for the Tetris games. There's always some kind of issue with the licenses, and a lot of the digital versions of Tetris have been pulled out of the out of service. So I'm very happy to have a physical copy of Tetris and Puyo Puyo that I can just play anytime I want on the Nintendo Switch. And for this particular one, it has a story mode with some wacky characters that add a little bit to the charm of the game. And for this particular one, I was able to get the first print run or whatever that comes with 2 keychains. Pretty cool. And this is the box that comes with the keychains and whatnot. So a very fun game. If you guys like puzzle games, I mean, Tetris and Puyo Puyo are kind of like the most popular games in the genre. So very nice release for the Nintendo Switch. This is another game that I picked up for cheap, SINE MORA EX. I have to go back to this. I started playing it and I didn't care too much for it. This is a game that has been out for a while already on the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita. And this one, it's the EX version, which saw a later release on the Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. I have to go back to it. This is a shmup that has some Suda 51 involvement in it. So that alone has, drew my interest. But I do have to go back to this. The very few minutes that I put into the game, the story was a little bit, I didn't care too much for the story and whatnot, but I will definitely go back and put a little bit more time into SINE MORA EX. Next up is a release that I'm really happy I did not get on day one, and this is Snipper Clips Plus. It was a day one digital release for the Nintendo Switch, and I wanted to try this because I've heard a lot of good reviews. This is a good game to play with your significant other, or if you have younger brothers, or if you have kids. It's a good local co-op game, and I'm glad I waited, because almost a year later they decided to release the Plus version, which has a lot more content, and it's a physical version. So if you guys care for actually owning a physical piece, they decided to provide this. And of course, like with any Nintendo first-party games, they have like a kind of like a cool artwork there inside the game. So very happy I waited, and I've been playing this with my little niece, and I've been having a lot of fun with this game actually. So very interesting release for the Nintendo Switch. Next up is a game that I received as a gift during Christmas, and I have not played it yet. Sonic Forces. A lot of average reviews for this game. I think a lot of people were waiting a little bit more, but as we all know, the Sonic games have been hit or miss as of late. So definitely looking forward to trying this game out. And I believe Sonic Mania will see a physical release later in the year, so I'm also looking forward to that game. It's more of a classic Sonic game, and this one is more of a modern type of Sonic game. But nevertheless, I'm gonna try this game. It was on my Christmas wish list, and happy to have it on my collection here. Next up is another one of the newer Nintendo IPs, Splatoon 2. I already have an impressions video on this, and I wasn't very keen on the game. In my opinion, there's a lot of room for improvement in small things that, in my opinion, will improve the online experience. But overall, it's a fun game. The single-player mode it's fun, just like the first Splatoon game on the Nintendo Wii U. I had a lot of fun with this, but in my opinion, Nintendo can probably do a little bit better of a job with fixing a few things. I had a few gripes with this game, but overall, it's a fun game, and I applaud Nintendo's commitment for releasing a new IP. And as you can see here, we have some pretty nice artwork because this is a first-party game, and Nintendo does that. So pretty cool. And we're gonna move on to another pleasant surprise, or I shouldn't say surprise, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We all knew this was going to be a very in-depth JRPG. Decided to get this on day one. I had my notes of I was a little bit worried as far as the art direction and whatnot, but this ended up being one of my favorite games of 2017, despite some gripes that I have that I made clear in my impressions video. If you guys want to check it out, but overall, pleasantly, I did enjoy this game, not as much as the original Xenoblade Chronicles. So in that regard, it was a little bit of a disappointment. But then again, the original Xenoblade Chronicles, for me personally, is one of the best RPGs of all time. So hard to live up to that expectation, but nevertheless, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was a fantastic game. I put almost 100 hours into this game. The combat system was really fun. It was just the characters that I was not very fond of, and the character development wasn't the greatest in my opinion. But overall, this is a fantastic RPG, and if you guys are a fan of the genre, this is a must-have on the Nintendo Switch. And last but not least, a game that will live on for generations, in my opinion. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This was my favorite game of 2017. An open world masterpiece by Nintendo EAD. And what can I say about this game? I already talked about this game so much. It's definitely a masterpiece in my opinion. It's one of those games that will live on and be talked about for a very long time. There's a good reason why this game got a record number of perfect, reviews out there. Fantastic game, beautiful art, beautiful, art direction and graphics, and playing this on the Switch was just very, very fun. And I'm definitely looking forward to playing the DLC. I have not looked into that yet, so that'll be a good excuse to dive into this game once again. And this was a launch purchase for me, obviously, and I don't know if it's gonna fit in here, but I did buy the it's kind of hard to aim the camera, but as you guys can see, I have the special edition that came with a bunch of goodies. Let me just put the camera back in there again. This was one of them, and one of my favorite items here for my collection, actually, which is the case, the Switch case that resembles the Sheikah Slate, which is pretty cool, pretty high quality material. This is one of my favorite items that came with the Breath of the Wild special edition. So I use this every time I take my Switch out there. I use this case, which is pretty cool. And last but not least, I guess I'm gonna go and do a brief overview of the digital games that I own for the Nintendo Switch. I don't know how this is gonna work, but let's see. There's a little bit of a glare, so I apologize. That's me in the camera right there in the background, but these are just a few of the games that I have. I recently purchased Football Manager 2018. I was addicted to this game. I played it on PC all the way back, dating from I think 2003, 2004, when the game was called, I think it was called Championship Manager, and then Sega bought the rights. So yeah, definitely looking forward to putting more time into Football Manager Touch 2018. And then we have Snipper Clips. These are a bunch of my physical games. And then we have, for example, King of Fighters 98. Fantastic game. Stardew Valley, a very addicting game. I did not put as much time as I was thinking I would, but this is an excellent game. If you guys are into the Harvest Moon series, definitely check out Stardew Valley. Very addicting though, so just a word of warning. Here we have all the other physical games that I've been playing, and this is one that I picked up around the release day. Fast RMX, if you guys are into the Wipeout or F-Zero types of games, this is actually a very fun, futuristic game. Here we have Kamiko, which is a very short but sweet kind of like an indie type of game, hack and slash from action adventure game from the top view. Very fun, very charming, old school graphics. Highly recommended. I think the game is like less than $5 on the eShop. So check that out. And lastly, one of my disappointments here, Snake Pass. I just could not get used to the controls in this game, so unfortunately I was not able to enjoy this game as much, or as much as I was hoping. So with that being said, the Nintendo Switch has had a very successful first year. Again, I'm eating some crow because I thought the system was not gonna be as successful as I thought it would be. The Nintendo Switch has been a very interesting system for its first year, very successful system for Nintendo, and I'm hoping that during the second and third year and fourth year, Nintendo keeps releasing high quality titles for the system. But that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.